What's up, y'all? Welcome to Second and 15, a Philadelphia Eagles fan podcast presented by Old City Sports Network, the best sports network for all your Philadelphia sports needs. This is your host, Michael Roscoe. After the first Sunday without football for the next 200-ish days or so, what do we have to look forward to? We'll talk about that with some upcoming NFL events to look out for and what they mean, as well as updates with the Eagles coaching staff scenarios, and even with a Super Bowl MVP, we are still seeing the Jalen Hurts disrespect, so you know we got to talk about that as well. Without wasting any more time, let's dive right into that Eagles news. So the first piece of news is, obviously, we had the Eagles Super Bowl parade last week where an estimated over 1.5 million people flocked the streets of Philadelphia to celebrate the Eagles Super Bowl victory. From passionate speeches to hilarious player-to-fan interactions and a couple of accidental full beers to the head, it was a Super Bowl celebration unlike any we've ever seen. We've got a roster move as well, as the Eagles have released offensive lineman Nick Gates, who had ended the 2024 season on injury reserve. Gates had appeared in 9 games for the Eagles after signing with Philadelphia after previously playing for Washington the season before. With the Super Bowl behind us, we are just about 2 months or so away from the NFL draft, where the Eagles' first pick will be the 32nd pick overall, which does not come as a surprise, as they are the reigning Super Bowl champs. It is very, very, very unlikely, but that could become an earlier draft pick, as Howie Roseman is a fucking wizard, and we'll see if he can do some magic. But honestly, it's hard to believe us drafting any higher than 32 in this upcoming draft. In other news, and probably some of the bigger news, is we got a lot of coaching shifts to talk about. Last week, I mentioned how former offensive coordinator Kellen Moore has accepted the head position coach with the New Orleans Saints. With his new title, Moore and the Saints organization have been looking at a few key Eagles coaches to join Moore down in Louisiana. First up, you got quarterbacks coach Doug Nussmeier, who was interviewed for and as of Wednesday is nearing a deal to become the Saints' newest offensive coordinator. Nussmeier has a history with Kellen Moore both in Dallas and in Los Angeles. Plus, he's got a son who plays football at LSU and another son that lives in that area as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if this move becomes finalized soon. Nussmeier joined the Eagles staff at the beginning of the season, and to me it seems like he did a pretty good job with our quarterback room, since we've not only, and obviously, seen success with Jalen Hurts, but with our QB2 and our QB3 with Kenny Pickett and Tanner McKee. Now, here's something pretty wild, y'all. All 3 quarterbacks have thrown for at least 2 or more touchdowns this year, which, if you think about it, is probably the most amount of quarterbacks on any team that has thrown 2 or more interceptions this year. Come on now. Now, it'll suck to see Nussmeier go. However, this means that Eagles running back coach Jamal Singleton will not get that offensive coordinator job, as Moore had interviewed Singleton for that open OC role as well. Hopefully, Singleton stays with the Eagles, as our running back room had been fucking fantastic. Now, obviously, a lot of that has to do with Saquon Barkley's talent, but we also saw success with Kenny Gainwell and rookie Will Shipley, so you got to contribute success in this running back room to that coaching as well. On the defensive side of the ball, Kellen Moore is trying to take from us from there, as well as defensive back coach Christian Parker is set to interview for the open defensive coordinator position for the Saints. Like Nussmeier, Parker joined the Eagles staff at the beginning of the 2024 season after spending 3 seasons in Denver helping to develop All-Pros, including 2024's Defensive Player of the Year, cornerback Pat Surtain, and safety Justin Simmons. Parker had a huge role and benefit to our Eagles defensive backs, one of the best DB groups in football of the 2024 season. He helped rookies Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean turn into Defensive Rookie of the Year candidates, as well as help veterans such as C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Darius Slay, and Reed Blankenship continue to improve their game as well. Personally, I think it would have a big impact on this Eagles defense. Obviously, the defensive mastermind in Vic Fangio is here to stay, but for our DBs, especially our rookies, to lose Parker, whom they spent the entire year building a relationship under and learning his coaching methodology, I wouldn't feel comfortable with losing Christian Parker to the Saints. Now, the Saints are looking at multiple other candidates for this position as well, so we're just going to have to wait and see what the official report says when it finally comes out about who the Saints defensive coordinator will be. All right, we have an update to the coaching hiring, more like stealing from the Eagles. As of Wednesday, the coach poaching from Kellen Moore claimed another as Eagles run game specialist and assistant offensive line coach TJ Paganetti has been hired by the Saints to an unspecified role. And then we have the biggest hole to fill, which is our offensive coordinator position. You might be thinking, Michael, what about our team? What about the Eagles? Who's going to be the OC for us? Well, that was just announced Wednesday afternoon around 2 o'clock, as the Eagles will stay internal as they promote pass game coordinator and assistant head coach Kevin Patullo to the offensive coordinator position. To fulfill Patullo's open role, the Eagles have hired Parks Frazier as their newest offensive pass game coordinator. All right, y'all, moving on to Jalen Hurts. Now, I don't know what the hell is going on, why it's so hard for people to respect this man, but the Jalen Hurts disrespect continues. But honestly, I'm not surprised. I just can't seem to fathom why the fuck there is still so much disrespect for Hurts and his ability to play football. It's so dumb. NFL.com released a final quarterback ranking for end of 2024 season, and where Hurts is at is just plain fucking wrong. So here's the order that NFL.com has posted. Number 1, Lamar Jackson. Number 2, Josh Allen. Number 3, Joe Burrow. Number 4, Jared Goff. Number 5, Jaden Daniels. Number 6, Baker Mayfield. Number 7, Patrick Mahomes. Number 8, Matthew Stafford. Number 9, Jalen Hurts. Number 10, Jordan Love. They ranked Jalen Hurts 9th. Are you fucking kidding me? The stats they listed with this ranking system were total games played, pass completion percentage, passing yards, yards per attempt, passing touchdowns, interceptions, rushing yards, rushing touchdowns, and fumbles. So I took it upon myself to do a little bit of math. What I did is I consolidated some categories, such as passing rushing yards and passing rushing touchdowns, into total yards and total touchdowns. Took out yards per attempt because, that's just a stat for the sake of being a stat. And then went through each quarterback in the top 10 and based on their stats, ranked them amongst themselves in each category. For example, based on the numbers in this top 10, Jalen Hurts ranked 5th in total touchdowns, 4th in pass completion percentage, 8th in total yards, tied for 2nd in fewest interceptions, and 7th in fewest fumbles. Notice how he did not rank 9th in any of those fucking categories, but NFL.com ranked Jalen 9th overall? Yeah, that math ain't mathin' at all. So, based on the numerical stats, which is what I'm assuming was the majority of the consideration for this article's quarterback ranking since they listed the stats in there, here's what the average overall rank should be based on those numbers. So, number 1, Lamar Jackson. No surprise there. Number 2, Jaden Daniels. Number 3, Joe Burrow. Number 4, Josh Allen. Tied for 5th, Jared Goff and Jalen Hurts. 7th, Baker Mayfield. 8th, Patrick Mahomes. 9th, Matthew Stafford. And 10th, Jordan Love. So, this article, written and or presented by Nick Shook of NFL.com, got Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and Jordan Love right. Everyone else's math did not math at all. Why is it so fucking hard for people to consider Jalen Hurts a top 5 quarterback? Hell, I'll accept a top 6 even. And I'm specifically talking about this season. People can bitch and moan about all the other seasons. This ranking was based upon the 2024 season. So based off the season, why is it so hard to consider him a top 5, top 6 quarterback? Because they're placing him at fucking 9th. You want to put the Super Bowl MVP at 9th? It's idiotic as fuck. Now, some analysts who have been criticizing Jalen Hurts a lot, such as Dan Orlovsky, have publicly come out and admitted that they were wrong and or apologized for doubting Hurts. So I will acknowledge the accountability that some Jalen Hurts doubters have taken. But obviously, there's still a lot of doubters out there. Not only did Jalen Hurts average as the 5th best quarterback in all of those categories that we just talked about, but the dude can win on the biggest stage in American sports. He's outplayed Mahomes twice in the Super Bowl. He's helped put up 145 points in the postseason, the most in NFL history. He broke his own quarterback rushing yards in a Super Bowl record with 72, became the first quarterback in 33 years to return to a Super Bowl after losing his Super Bowl debut, and is now one of only 3 quarterbacks in NFL history to win the Super Bowl on their second attempt after losing their first. And that, y'all, is just a fraction of the achievements that Jalen Hurts has acquired this year. So my question is, why is it so hard to consider Jalen Hurts a top 5, top 6 quarterback? I wish I knew the answer to that, y'all. Okay, y'all, before we wrap up today's show, let's talk about some upcoming NFL events. For those who may be new in getting into football, you might be living in another country and you're gaining interest in American football, the NFL. You might have a spouse or a partner or somebody who's really into football and you're trying to get into it too. You'll want to know that NFL action doesn't stop after the Super Bowl. There's several key events that come up between now and preseason, and in this episode, we're going to talk about the 3 big events that are going to occur between now and April. And for those new to football, I'm going to break them down a little bit just so you have an idea of what to expect. So first, between February 27th and March 2nd, you have the NFL Combine. Now, this multi-day event is where prospective college football athletes who are looking to be drafted into the NFL show off their skills to organizations, scouts, anyone who is going to watch. The first day is for defensive linemen and linebackers. The second day is for defensive backs, so that's your nickel corners, your outside corners, your safeties. And then also on the offensive side, you have your tight ends. The third day is for quarterbacks, wide receivers, and running backs, with the fourth and final day being for offensive linemen. Now, there isn't a day specifically for special teams players such as kickers, punters, or long snappers. However, they can still attend/perform at the Combine. Now, how a player performs at the Combine can significantly impact, in either a positive or a negative way, their draft status come April. Activities usually include strength and agility skills such as bench press, vertical jumps, long jumps, and probably the most well-known one, the 40-yard dash. Additionally, each skill position will showcase their skills in drills such as blocking for offensive linemen, route running for receivers, passing for quarterbacks, and tons more. All right, next event. Between March 10th and March 12th and a little bit afterward, this is free agency. Now, this is a big event in the NFL world. A free agent is basically a player who is eligible to sign a contract with another team, usually due to the fact that the end of the player's current contract has arrived. The March 10th date is what's known as legal tampering, which is when NFL teams can negotiate contract deals with players on the 10th and 11th, but nothing can be signed until March 12th or after. During this free agency period, you may see a lot of player transitions occur. For example, For the 2024 season, we signed Saquon Barkley, Mekhi Becton, Zach Bond, Bryce Huff, and others who were free agents going into the 2024 season. Now that the season's over, we currently have around 19 potential free agents, including guys such as Josh Sweat, Zach Bond, Mekhi Becton, Kenneth Gainwell, Milton Williams, and others. During this period, a team may lose players, they may gain players, and or they may restructure new deals for free agents so that they can remain on their current team. Now, each team only has a certain amount of money per year available to them, which is known as the cap space. Now, as of right now, the Eagles have around 18 million and some change in available cap space the way their contracts are currently set up, but this could increase by around $26 million as the league is looking to increase each team's salary cap, which is right now around $255 million, with the potential for that to increase to around $275 to $281 million. All right, and the next and final event we will talk about this episode will occur in April between the 24th and the 26th, and that is the NFL Draft. Now, this 3-day event is where all 32 teams draft new rookies to be a part of their team. Each NFL draft is 7 rounds long, with over 230 players or so being drafted between all the teams. The first day is solely the first round, while day 2 is round 2 through 3, and the final day is rounds 4 through 7. The best of the best from college football will all wait and hope for their name to be called, and typically players that are highly expected to be drafted in the first round will be present at that ceremony. The order of the draft is dependent upon the record of the team from the previous year. So, for example, the Tennessee Titans had the worst overall record this season, so they will have the first overall pick in the draft, and the Eagles will have the final pick of the first round as their first pick because, again, they're the reigning Super Bowl champions. Now, sometimes the order of the first round depends on if teams had made trades for draft picks in previous years or draft night trades. But typically, you only see teams trading a first round pick if they're going to get either more first round picks or a high value player. For example, Myles Garrett is probably going to be someone that if a team really wants them, you're going to have to give up a first round pick and more to get that. So, for example, in 2022, the Eagles had traded their first round pick, which at that time was pick 18, as well as pick 101 to get wide receiver A.J. Brown from the Tennessee Titans, one of the best trades for the Eagles in modern history. Now, the last pick of the entire draft is known as Mr. Irrelevant, which is kind of harsh if you think about it on a deeper perspective. The most recent well-known Mr. Irrelevant is quarterback Brock Purdy, who was picked at, I want to say, 232nd overall in the 2022 draft and is now the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. These 3 events are just a few of the many events that take place during the NFL offseason, but tend to have the most significant impacts for their team or, are the most popular to pay attention to, watch, etc. Because you got new league meetings and all these other meetings, those aren't really televised. In future episodes, as these dates arrive, we'll talk more about these events and their specific impact to the Philadelphia Eagles. All right, y'all, that is it for this week's episode. Thank you all for joining us. Do not forget to like, subscribe, or follow on YouTube, X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok by searching at 2nd and 15 or by the full name 2nd and 15, a Philadelphia Eagles fan podcast. You can also find the audio for each and every single episode, releasing Thursday mornings on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Player FM, Pocket Casts, or wherever you get your podcasts. This episode, 2nd and 15, and Old City Sports Network are brought to you by Righteous Felon Craft Jerky. Head on over to righteousfelon.com and use our promo code OCSN, all lowercase, for 15% off the best jerky. They got some awesome flavors: Darth Garlic, Soul Survivor, OG Hickory, and more. Any order over $50 will get free shipping. We are also brought to you by Warlord Beard Oil. Use our promo code OLDSPORTS with an E at the end of old and all caps, one word, at warlordbeardoil.com for 15% off beard oils, washes, soaps, apparel, whatever you need, all your beard care needs. Check out warlordbeardoil.com. Orders $75 or more will also get you free shipping. We are also brought to you by SeatGeek. Download the app and use promo code Old City Sports Network, all one word, for $20 off your first purchase using the SeatGeek app or on SeatGeek.com. We also got some local sponsors with Robert Hangholt Construction. If you're in the greater Philadelphia region, you need some work done on your house. Maybe you've been putting off redoing your deck. Maybe your siding could use a good power washing or there's some damage to it. Whatever household project you are looking to work on or have been looking to start, call the number one contractor in the area at 610-348-1066 to get a free estimate on your next home project today. We also got Decals by Aaron for all your Delco products and merchandise. Check out decalsbyaaron.com, your number one spot for everything Delco. We also have Iron and Steel Threads. Go to ironsteelthreads.com and use our promo code OldCity10, the number 10 in all caps for Old City, for 10% off the entire website, y'all. Plus, a portion of the proceeds are going to go to youth hockey organizations. And don't forget to check out oldcitysportsnetwork.com. Click the articles to read a bunch of articles about the Philadelphia Flyers, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Philadelphia Union. You got pro wrestling, as well as go ahead and click that merchandise tab to check out some awesome merchandise, from hoodies to t-shirts, stickers, drinkware, from all your favorite Old City Sports Network shows, including yours truly, Second and 15. Once again, thanks y'all for joining in. This is Second and 15, a Philadelphia Eagles fan podcast presented by Old City Sports Network. We'll see y'all next week, where we will focus on previewing the combine, including possible positional needs for the Birds if they want a chance to win another Super Bowl. See y'all next time. Don't forget to stay fly like an eagle, and as always, go Birds!